moving earth concept. So it's like the real difficulty in taking in the concept of the moving earth, even though the idea has been around for 300 years, is that we have zero evidence of the zero experiential evidence of the fact that the earth is moving. Copernicus gave the idea, the modern idea, if you can call it that, that the earth goes around the sun and it's only the moon that goes around the earth. And the speed at which the earth would have to travel in order to go around the sun once in 365 and a quarter days is that they can calculate, because by this time the information about the distance between the sun and the earth was known. They knew how to calculate the circumference of a circle, assuming that it was more or less a circle, and they arrived at some very large figure. So the earth would actually have to move at the incredible speed of about 107,000 kilometers per hour, which is mind-boggling for us. We won't even get a sense of how things are at that rate. But if you reduce it down to kilometers per second, then you get a speed approximately equal to 30 kilometers per second. Okay, so I'm saying just take a moment to understand what will happen if you can move at a speed of about 30 kilometers per second. So I am here in Sayadri school. We are not allowed to go to Rajguru Nagar Khed. Rajguru Nagar is about 26 kilometers away. There are about 100 cases there, that's why. But it typically takes about 45 minutes to 50 minutes to get from here to there by an automobile. Okay, if I can move at a speed of 30 kilometers per second from here to Rajguru Nagar, I would reach in under a second. Okay, so take it a little bit further. Take it a little bit further. Within 10 seconds, I can get from here to Bombay, from school to Bombay, or from Bombay to school. It's going to take you under 10 seconds because it's roughly around 200. So actually far lesser than 10 seconds. Okay, and if you think about something like that, one moment, let me finish. Something like a distance from here to Chennai, which is where I usually go to, or here to Bangalore, okay. That's a distance of about 1,100 kilometers or so. Let's keep it as around 1,000. You will be doing 100 kilometers approximately in 3.3 seconds. Okay, so in about 35 seconds, you can get from here to Bangalore. So that is the kind of incredible speed. In fact, we have got no vehicles, no mode of transportation that can at the present do that kind of speed. So that is the suggested speed. And obviously when people heard about these things in the 1800s, they dismissed it. So this is stupid, because even if an object which is stationary, let's say it gets hit by another object which is moving at some comparable speed, when it hits it, you fall off. You can't stay on top of an object which is moving. Why? Because you lose your balance and you will fall off. So they said that, so we are on planet Earth and it is spherical, and on top of that it is moving at a speed of 30 kilometers per second in a circular path. Give me a break. This is too absurd. This is not how things are. Okay, and one of the famous arguments that were given against this idea was the idea that if there was a tree, okay, on which there was a bird. Ruhani, I remember that you have a question. I'll just take your question in a moment. So there is a bird sitting on a tree. Excuse my bird. Okay, and the bird sees a worm wriggling on the ground. Right? The bird would then have to fly downwards to catch hold of the worm so that it can have its supper. They said that it's stupid to think, because when the bird takes to the wing, right, then the earth, because the worm is on the earth and the tree is stuck to the earth, the whole thing would have moved off at the speed of 30 kilometers per second, and the bird would get left behind. So no bird would ever catch a worm, and if birds don't catch worms, then all birds will die. Since there are birds still there on the surface of the earth, this whole idea is wrong. Okay, so this was one very powerful argument. I don't remember who it was who gave this argument, but this was one very powerful argument that people could not refute. Okay, so these were the kinds of issues that were there around the moving earth concept. Yeah, Ruhani, now you can ask your question.
Sir, it's about the thing you said. For you to move from Sayadri to Bangalore, from to Bombay, it'll just take a few seconds.
Yeah.
Sir, but isn't that the same as like a dog chasing its own tail? Because the Bombay is also moving with you, right? Bombay is also moving that, so you can't really.
Yeah. See, that's precisely the argument that was forgotten. The reason why you are saying that Bombay is also moving with you is because you understand we are all in an inertial frame. That means everything is together, right? So therefore, if you start moving towards Bangalore, everything is moving together. But wait, there was something. The point over here is that the bird is in the air. Okay, so I take a similar example when we are actually in the classroom. I take an example where I say that, okay, going by the same argument, if I am, okay, that's not how if I am standing on the ground and let us say this is the wall of one of the classrooms, okay, as long as both of us are on the ground and everything is moving at the speed of 30 kilometers per second in whichever direction, it's all hunky-dory. But what if I jump up in the air? So I get off the ground, I jump up in the air, right? Then in that case, the earth and the wall are moving at 30 kilometers per second, but I stop moving at the speed of 30 kilometers per second because I'm not connected to the ground anymore. So then what prevents the wall from slamming into me? You get it? If you jump from the ground, the same thing as the bird. If the bird goes into the air, what prevents everything from moving away? The fact that these things do not happen seem to suggest that the speed with which it was moving, right, is an absurd idea. But then, of course, they did not know about the concept of inertia and dynamic equilibrium, which is that even if I jump up in the air, right, the speed with which I was going earlier, which was 30 kilometers per second with respect to the sun, right, that speed continues when I jump up in the air. I move even in the air along with everything else because that was my speed to begin with. What is going to slow me down? Nothing. Is the air going to slow me down? No, it won't, because the air is also going along with it. The atmosphere is also moving along with it. Okay, so since everything is going at the same speed, that is the reason why nothing of that sort happens. Things don't slam into one another, and thankfully for the bird, it gets its worm. Not so lucky for the worm, but then that's a different discussion. So is this point clear?
Sir,
Yeah.
I didn't understand one thing. What does the jumping up in the earth got to do with anything? Even if you jump up, you're still moving at 30 kilometers per second, right?
Precisely the point. They didn't get it. What you just understood as matter of fact, they did not get it at that time because it was such a novel new idea. It challenged their Aristotelian thinking. And because it challenged their Aristotelian thinking, they were not able to go beyond it. They were prejudiced in a way not to think of the earth as moving, which is what happens to our fixed ideas, right? If your ideas are fixed, then you don't want to change it.
You
So
assume them like that.
watch out for this happening in many areas. In physics, you are able to change your idea, maybe because since the time you were born you were being told these things. The earth is moving, we are going around the sun is the star, blah blah blah. So you don't have a problem accepting it when I tell you in 8th standard in a formal manner. But imagine you were 300 years ago, students in a school somewhere, um, I am a teacher who's saying that, I have read a book by a man called Copernicus, and he suggests that everything is going around the sun, the earth is going around the sun. Then some of you will be surprised by that. You'll say, that's not possible. What is the speed at which we are moving if we are going around the sun? 30 kilometers per second. What 30 kilometers per second? I'm looking at the skies, I'm looking at the trees, there's nothing moving at 30 kilometers per second. If everything is moving at 30 kilometers per second, then the trees should always appear bent, isn't it? So the trees should always appear bent like this. But that's not obviously what is happening. So common sense seemed to suggest, weirdly, that nothing of that sort was going on. But then it's not really common sense. You're using your visual and your experiential evidence.
That's not possible.
Yeah, sorry?
That's not possible, that idea.
Yes. So you have to weigh and judge. Yeah, Rohan.
Or if you think about it, then you're never at rest. You're always moving.
So if you think about it exactly with relation to one thing or the other,
Relative to the sun.
yes, to some point or the other, you're always at motion. So if you say, I am at rest, this, I don't want to use the water bottle again. Okay, this hand sanitizer is at rest. You have to say with reference to what? With reference to the center of the earth. With reference to this classroom. With reference to Tivai Hill. With reference to Bombay. I can say anything. Anything that is part of the same inertial frame. Okay, but if I say it's at rest with reference to the sun, then you people can say that's not true. With reference to the sun, this object is moving along with everything else at that speed.
So an inertial frame is where everything is moving at one given one given speed or anything.
Yeah, we are assuming something is at rest, and then we talk about others moving with reference to that. So as of now, we are assuming that the earth is at rest. Earth is not at rest, so it's a little bit confusing. So what we generally say is the classroom is at rest. So you can say, assume that the classroom is at rest. Then you can ask, in classroom is at rest with reference to what? Then I have to say to the center of the earth. So we are considering the earth. We are saying that is the reference frame. Let us assume that is at rest, and then we can talk about how things are moving and where it is going. If you don't, yeah.
Sir, is the sun at rest in reference to the classroom?
The sun, yes, we have to say that the sun is at rest with reference to the earth. But then sun is also not absolutely at rest, because the sun is part of a galaxy, and that galaxy has a specific shape, spiral galaxy, and our solar system happens to be in one of the arms of the spiral galaxy, and the galaxy itself is spiraling. So you can't even say that the sun is at rest. The sun is moving with respect to the center of our galaxy.
What if the universe is moving around something else? And
that's a very big question. The universe, well, the question can be asked, is there a center to the universe?
Yeah.
Because there is ample evidence to suggest that the universe itself is expanding. So objects in the universe itself are moving with respect to one another. But I won't go into that question now. That is quite a complicated one. I will leave it at that. Yeah.
So we said that, for example, me with the reference to sun, I'm not at rest. But if I put myself with the reference to my table or any book, then I will be at rest, no?
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
So the most important idea that you can take away from this is motion is relative. You have to always say in relation to what. Okay. In general, in class 8, class 9, class 10, whatever, the inertial frame is always taken as the earth. So in fact, we don't say earth as a inertial frame. We say inertial framework. We take it as an inertial frame. That means wherever this object is that we are discussing, that place itself is at rest. then we can talk about its motion. Otherwise, it can get quite complicated.
Sir,